Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a pregnancy update because I am now 28 weeks pregnant, and actually in 2 days, so one day after this video goes live, I'll be 29 weeks pregnant. And I haven't done an update since I was 24 weeks because honestly, other than my doctor's appointment, which we will discuss, 25, 26 weeks, I didn't really have too much to update you guys on, but 27 and now this week, 28, wow, there is a lot to catch you up on. So I'm gonna get right on into it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and jump back in time to my 24-week doctor's appointment, which actually took place at the very beginning of my 25th week, just for scheduling reasons. And that's why you guys didn't hear about it in that 24-week update. This specific appointment for me was super laid back. They just kind of check your vitals, your weight, blood pressure, all that stuff. And then they ask if you have any questions and just kind of go over everything that is coming up in the future. So the main thing we actually discussed during this appointment was my weight, which I actually, for some reason, have never mentioned to you guys. And that's not, that was totally not intentional. I just had never really had much to update. Because I was so sick in my first trimester, I gained 1 pound and then I lose 2. And then I gained 1 pound and then I lose 1 pound. And it was kind of just fluctuating here and there. So for my original OB appointment at 6 weeks pregnant, I technically had only gained 2 pounds from that 6 weeks pregnant to 20 weeks pregnant. And then from 20 weeks pregnant to the 25-week appointment, or 24-week, but it was 25 weeks. In that 5-week span, I had gained 9 pounds. And he seemed a little bit concerned about that. And he just kind of said just watch your weight, make sure you're eating healthy, staying hydrated, make sure you're moving, things like that. And he just kind of basically said we'll watch it in the future. Well, I got home, started getting in my head about things we do. But I did a little bit of research because I'm okay, technically I've only gained 11 pounds so far. I'm over halfway into my pregnancy. Let me just see what's going on. And I did some research and I was in the range of what is normal for that part in pregnancy. But I did read that any significant gain or any significant loss in weight they want to just track it and make sure that that's not going to continue. So I think that's what he meant, but he didn't really explain that to me. Also, we have one of those lovely Florida storms that came out of nowhere, and Will is working in the garage. So I'm hoping there's no weird sounds for you guys, but like usual, we're going with it. That is life. So after I read that, I felt a little bit better. He wasn't concerned about my weight gain in particular, overall. He was just concerned, from appointment to appointment, it was a high jump. But to me, I'm it was 5 weeks and I had just, gotten my appetite back and I really hadn't gained much prior. So I just kind of shrugged it off and said, we'll see how it is at the next appointment. So then week 25, week 26 went by. Nothing really changed too much, I would say. I was trying to stretch a little bit more, and I don't know, some days I feel like my back pain isn't that bad at night. Some days it's bad. It kind of fluctuates. But not much happened until 27 weeks, which some people say your third trimester starts at 27 weeks. I go by day 1 of 28 weeks because then your 27 week is over, but to each their own, whatever. But at 27 weeks, I definitely felt my thirst pick up a lot. I really wasn't thirsty most of my first trimester because I was nauseous and didn't want really to eat or drink anything. And then slowly my thirst was growing. But at 27 weeks, I was feeling the thirst. And during this week, heartburn also started at nighttime. And the old wives' tale says that means your baby's gonna have hair. Other people just say you're growing, your stomach and your esophagus don't have as much room, which is valid. So I don't know, I just keep Tums by the bed. Heartburn is not fun. I've never had it in my entire life, and let me tell you, it is not a fun time. Cravings wise, everything's pretty much the same. Not really craving much at all other than peaches, which I still have probably like a peach a day, but that's way better than my snow cone craving during my first trimester, which I never really had many of those anyway, but I just always wanted them. And then I also noted during week 27 that my feet had started to swell, and that's just kind of if I'm on my feet for a long period of time. But honestly, that's not really uncommon for me in particular. My feet swell if I'm on my feet anyway, so I was shocked that during pregnancy, I really haven't seen any swelling, like at all, up until that point. So now on to this week, which is week 28, and I am in my third trimester. We have made it to the third trimester, which is just insane to me. But let me tell you, a lot has happened in this one week. In my last vlog, you guys actually saw me go to my appointment during this week. I'll go and link that vlog up above because there's probably some information in that vlog that I won't mention today just for like time reasons and because most of you have seen it. But that specific appointment is for the glucose test. So you fast for a couple hours beforehand. Each doctor kind of has different rules on that. Mine was for 2 hours. You go in, you drink the sugary drink, which, you know, wasn't that bad, guys. Wasn't that bad to me. Wait an hour, and then you get your blood drawn. And then a couple days later, you'll get the results. Also at the appointment, they gave me my breast pump prescription, so I can get that through my insurance. We also talked about like registering with the hospital. They're gonna register on their end, and then it's time for me to register on my end. So thank goodness we got all that insurance stuff worked out, which it is officially worked out. I also mentioned that in the last vlog. Long, stressful story condensed for you. My husband's job decided to change companies for their insurance while picking a plan. We thought we double checked ourselves to make sure the new plan was gonna work for everything. But even though our hospital said all of this specific insurance company's plans were covered and accepted, I guess the one that we picked was not. So, you know, we had spent almost a week back and forth with my doctor, with the hospital, insurance company, and my husband's work, figuring it out. And when we got wind of all this, we had 3 days. Only 3 days left in the grace period where we can change to a different plan. So thank goodness we found out at that time, because the lady who actually told us is the billing lady at my doctor's office, and she called me and she's like, hey, this isn't really my job, but I noticed this isn't gonna work. So, you know, here are all your options. And I was just not a fan of any of those options. So the fact that we figured it out, I can go to what I hope and what I think is the hospital of my dreams. I'm just a happy camper. But anyway, during that last appointment, before, you know, we get into the glucose test results and everything, oh, and my new symptoms, there's so many. Okay, anyway, sorry, getting ahead of myself here. They also, of course, checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was a little high, so she's having me come in next week just to check that. Hopefully it was just like because I had a very stressful week and, you know, that test made me a little anxious. I'm hoping that's all it is and it's not going to be an issue. They also checked the fundal height, which is like the top of your belly to like the pubic bone, I think. Don't quote me on that. Google will let you know. But after 24 weeks, that measurement of your belly should equal the amount of weeks you're at. So at 28 weeks, it should be 28 inches. And she was like, you're measuring exactly at 28 inches. That is perfect. She was feeling around in my legs to see if she felt any swelling. I did mention, you know, a little bit of foot swelling, but other than that, she said I looked good. She also mentioned my weight. She said she thinks my weight is awesome. And I'm like, perfect. And I kind of said last time they were a little worried about the jump. And she said, you know, everyone kind of gains weight differently. And maybe that, you know, that month period is just when your baby had a growth spurt or, you know, your body just started to grow. So that made me feel a little bit better about the whole weight situation. And then this is the appointment that if you want the DTaP vaccine, that's when you'll get it as well. So back to the glucose test results. So I actually got the results this morning, and they told me that my blood sugar did register a little bit high. Now, thinking back, I should have asked her for the specific number because I really want to know that, but I just assumed it was going to be on my patient portal. But for whatever reason, those results aren't there. So I guess I'm going to have to wait when I go back in. I go back in 2 days to do the lovely test again, but this time, instead of a 1-hour test, it is a 3-hour test. I am planning on vlogging that just like I vlogged my 1-hour test, but from what I understand, I fast from midnight. They take my starting blood sugar. I drink an even sugarier drink, which I've heard is thicker, which might freak me out. Stay tuned for that. And then they're gonna test my blood sugar in an hour, and then at 2 hours, and then at 3 hours. So I get pricked 4 times. I'm hoping it's only 4 times. Like I said, stay tuned for that vlog coming up soon. Lots of fun stuff over here. So getting those results were pretty upsetting, I'm not gonna lie. You know, you just hope and assume that you're not gonna have it. But it is what it is at this point, and I could go into the 3-hour test and pass with flying colors. Who knows? I'm just gonna take it one day at a time. I am trying to like watch my sugar intake as of now until I get my next results. But you know, overall, other than like fruit and probably a lemonade a day, I really don't have too much sugar. So we'll see. We'll just see what happens. But on a happier note, I guess happier, definitely a cooler note, more interesting, I've had 2 very interesting symptoms start this week. So I'm pretty sure I had Braxton Hicks. So if you're not aware, that's kind of like little cramping sensations, cramping of the uterus that is kind of prepping your body for labor, kind of getting it used to that motion. And Will and I were folding laundry, and I just felt in my lower belly region, very low, just it get a little tight. And I don't know how to explain it other than that. It just kind of tensed up on its own, and then maybe about 30 seconds later it released. But during that 30 seconds I noticed it right away, and I like was touching my belly, you know, feeling it, and it was definitely hard, like something was happening. So that was my first Braxton Hicks, and then about maybe an hour later I got another one. A little uncomfortable that time, but nothing crazy. Some women say they never get Braxton Hicks. Some women say it starts at like 20 weeks. Some have them that don't hurt. Some say they hurt. I'm just like, okay, here we go. Day 1 of Braxton Hicks. But so far, not painful at all. Just like a little tightening of my belly. Just kind of like, ooh, that's a little weird. And then something else a little weird. I don't even know how to explain this because I don't even know if this technically happened or not. But I think I was leaking breast milk for the first time. So a couple weeks ago, I did notice like dry skin kind of on my nipple and didn't think anything of it. Thought I had dry skin, but I saw somewhere that the little flakes could actually be dried colostrum or dried milk. And I was like, oh wait, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, because it was only that one specific day that I had dry skin there. Now, then, 2 days ago, I'm just sitting at my computer, I guess braless, if you guys have to know, and I just feel wet, and I look down, and it's probably like a quarter-size wet spot right in area on the left. So, and I'm thinking back, and I was thinking back, and I'm like, I don't think I spilled water on myself. I mean, my water's right here. I'm drinking through a straw, and it was perfectly placed, a perfect circle. That's just weird. And I'm like, I'm leaking for the first time. That's insane. And then I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. So it dries, and it definitely dried not like water. It dried with like a little bit of crust. this is probably way TMI, but a little bit of crust. So I'm like, this is definitely breast milk. So that's really kind of exciting. Like, yay, something's happening in here. Like, something's going on. So hopefully that's a good sign for breastfeeding. I'll go and insert a clip of what my belly looks like right now. It's definitely growing, and my belly button is getting more and more shallow as the days go on. And you guys can probably see that a couple new stretch marks have started to form. Actually, on that note, I did have a couple of my friends ask me if I'm worried about stretch marks, if I am stressing about them, things like that. Honestly, no. And I mean, then again, you guys probably heard hesitation in my voice. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't want them, but I also kind of prepped my mind to know that it's gonna happen, especially because I feel like I'm more prone to them. It's gonna happen, and I'm growing a baby, and that is just one of the things about growing babies, and I am totally fine with that because my baby is worth it. Still putting on my belly butter and everything every night. But other than that, I'm just kind of going with the flow with it. If I have a million, I have a million. If I don't get any more, great. That's awesome. But on that note, thank you guys so much for watching today. I will see you guys all in my next vlog, which should be my 3-hour glucose test. Wish me luck on that one. It's going to be so boring. Might be miserable, but we will survive. And let's just hope for a good result so I don't have to do any crazy diets and crazy things. I don't even know what it entails, but we're gonna go along this journey together. I will see you guys all then. Bye.